But first, he's here and he's racked up an impressive 4 decades in the business, held up as a beacon of broadcasting, and he's even been knighted for his incredible talent. He could teach us a thing or two.
I think he could.
That is for sure.
A montage.
That is impressive.
Frankly, I don't want to see those pictures of a much younger man. You know, it's indecent.
Brilliant.
It's
Love
indecent.
So Terry, we've got lots to talk about. First of all, you're here to discuss the huge American show, the Ed Sullivan Show, that's been brought back to the UK, and you're in charge of that.
Nonsense. I'm here for the pleasure of seeing you.
Oh, well, that's very kind.
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you very much. You're a
But
gentleman.
the old Ed Sullivan Show, you see, nobody here has ever seen it.
Well, Marvin's a fan.
I am. I said to Rochelle last night.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, well,
you don't. You're too young.
No, I'll tell you what it is. I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, and I used to watch all of the old footage of him in the Jackson 5, and I think, was the Ed Sullivan Show the one where he was like 5 or 6, one of the first big...
Well, I mean, the Ed Sullivan Show was the show that every other presenter lives in the shadow of, because the Ed Sullivan Show was that terrific, iconic thing on American television, which we didn't see here, because, you know, BBC didn't buy it, and there was nobody else at the time. It was in black and white, and Ed Sullivan was enormously powerful and popular. And also, if you watch him in performance, probably one of the worst presenters in the history of television. He'd never get a job today, but, you know, he's a bit of a bumbler.
Yeah.
But the public trusted him, which is important to remember about television, that you don't have to be all that slick, you don't have to be all that perfect if people like you. And he had everybody on that show. As I say, we're all living as presenters in the shadow of Ed Sullivan. It's a shame that we hadn't seen more of him, but I'm presenting this thing just so that you can see how important he was and the kind of people he had on the show.
I mean, wasn't he one of the first Americans to bring the Beatles over? Is that correct?
Well, what happened was, I think he was going through London and he saw the Beatles arriving back from wherever they'd been at Heathrow and saw the huge fuss. And being the sharp journalist that he was, he signed them up immediately. And that was the first time they'd been seen on American television. And of course, it wasn't just him. The Rolling Stones. It was everybody. It was
Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley.
And the Supremes.
Elvis Presley, I think, is interesting because after he'd performed once and when he came back to perform again, they only shot him from the waist up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the mothers of America were complaining.
Don't you start doing that.
What's that?
Just shooting from the waist up.
You never know. May need to. May need to. And also, let's sort of not pass over the fact that you've been hosting Children in Need for 33 years. That is a long time.
Yeah, since it started.
So that makes you 34?
Since the major... Well, yeah, I was but a child. But, I mean, we started it in 1980, the telethon idea in 1980, and it's probably the most important... It is the most important thing I've ever done on television, and it's, you know, it has an enormous amount of affection for me, anyway, and the British public have responded. Since 1980, they've given nearly £700 million.
Wow, it's incredible.
But it's for Britain's underprivileged children, and you know, the public respond. They responded last year in a record-breaking total, in the midst of possibly the worst economic crisis we've had for years and years. So fantastic.
Well, it's something that Rochelle and I always look forward to. I mean, we've been lucky enough to take part.
I remember
Children in every year. I think I'm back again this year with the rest of the JLS boys.
Yes, so you are.
Along with One Direction and
Ellie Goulding. Yes.
We're doing something, I don't know if this is a secret or not, I think we're doing something on the EastEnders set.
Well, let's hope it's not a secret.
Well, I hope it's not, because if not, I'll just give it away.
Well, of course, we're doing it in Elstree,
Yeah.
because the television centre is now closed for that kind of thing.
Yes.
So we're doing it over where they make EastEnders. So there will be a lot. We'll be in the Vic and all the rest of it.
Yeah, and I've heard the EastEnders casts are doing a big performance as well, aren't they?
Well, they always do.
Yes, I know, everyone looks forward to that.
They respond. Yeah, well, I'm delighted you're going to be doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, good.
Would you ever do a performance on Children in Need, Terry?
I continually give a performance. It's a 7-hour live performance, for goodness sake. Give me a break, Mark.
Did you miss it?
No, hang on. I've done a bit of Strictly Come Dancing a couple of years ago. I've sung the floral dance a rap version, which was an unmitigated disaster,
OK, cool.
which people will never let me forget.
Maybe you could be the 5th member of JLS this year.
That'd be good.
That'd be good.
That'd be fantastic.
Maybe the kiss of death.
Well, listen, Terry, you've had an incredible career. I mean, Rochelle and I are both, huge fans of yourself.
Oh, come along now.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, have you got any advice? You know, we're new to the whole presenting thing. Have you got any advice for us as presenters?
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Get a proper job.
Okay. Yeah,
this is.
It's a bit late for that.
No, well, maybe, but honestly, you may regret it in later life.
OK.
He's serious.
We'll remember today.
No, come on, you're naturals.
Thank you very much.
There's nothing I can say that can improve your performance.
Thank you. So, now, can you talk to us about your book? I know you've got a book.
Oh, yeah, I've got a thing coming out. I'll have another one next year. Because you've got to do something when you're a retired old geezer, Yeah. So I sit at home.
I know.
Waiting for the muse to land in my head. And I've written this thing called Something for the Weekend, which is a compilation of all the articles I give for the Sunday Telegraph every Sunday. Yeah. And it's a thick volume. And then next year I shall be producing a slim volume.
OK.
But this one, Something for the Weekend, comes out pretty soon. And old Ed Sullivan is on the 10th, which is the Sunday.
Yes.
And then, of course, Children in Need is on the 15th.
Great.
Wow.
So, as I say, for 11 and a half months of the year, nobody pays the slightest bit of attention to me.
Oh.
And then for a couple of weeks,
I'm
running around like a chicken with its head cut off.
Exactly. So is there a target this year in which that you need to raise?
You mustn't do that. Last year was a record breaker at nearly 44 million. We're just hoping for the best.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. And if it's less, we're still grateful for whatever people give us.
Yeah.
And what would you say, Terry, over your career, what would you say is your personal biggest achievement?
Surviving. No. Clinging to the wreckage. Yeah. No, Children in Need, obviously, is the most important. And I had wonderful, wonderful years presenting a morning radio show on Radio 2. And I still do something on a Sunday with live music, which is great.
Yeah.
Maybe JLS will come and join me.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to. And the Saturdays.
There's a lot of collaborations, yeah.
Don't come together, it's a bit crowded.
Yeah, it would be.
Small studio.
I'll let you have the ladies first. You can have the Saturdays first.
Yeah, OK, we'll come in.
Terry, thank you so much for coming in today.
It's my pleasure, Marvin.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure to see you. Thank you.